Hey, this is Matt with Now Realty, and in this video, I'm going to talk to you about real estate versus personal property. And the reason we're doing this video is because we've had two different people this week reach out to us about listing what they thought, I guess, was real estate. And it turns out they only owned or they only wanted to sell personal property. So there is a difference. We can only list real estate on the MLS. So I figured I'd do a video since we had two in 1 week and kind of explain the difference between the two. And I'm going to show you two examples, actually. I'll show you the two people that actually reached out to us about listing their property with the flat fee MLS listing. And I'll explain to you why we weren't able to do that. So real estate versus personal property. Personal property is basically anything but real estate. Real estate's obviously the land and anything that's attached to the land, basically. Personal property is everything else. So cars, boats, motorcycles, RVs, construction equipment, anything besides land. So there is a difference. We can only list real estate on the MLS. Real estate agents sell real estate. They don't sell personal property. So that's why that distinction is made. So the first person that reached out to us this week, let's see, he was in this community here, and this is Cypress Lakes, 55 plus community. This is down near Lakeland. And let me pull up. Okay, so here's the property appraiser. Here's the plot map of the community. Now, this is a 55 and older community. I think all of these are mobile homes. And if you zoom in here, I'll show you why we could not list his property on the MLS. So his house was over in this section here. I won't say exactly which one, but he was one of these houses. Okay. Now, if you click on, he's got a street address and everything. But if you click on this area over here, you'll see it comes up. This whole, I won't get out of my way now. There we go. This whole parcel over here is owned by Cypress Lakes Associates Ltd. So they own all this land. Now, all the people that have houses, and I think these are all like mobile homes, all the people with these mobile homes on this land, they're basically just renting the land that their mobile home sits on, because this whole parcel is owned by the community. So the people that live here, they may own the house, they own the personal property, but they don't own the land under the house because they're paying lot rent. And that's a big if you pay lot rent, you probably don't own the real estate. Now, it's funny in this community, which this is a perfect way to kind of show you the difference between these two things. In the same community, you've got this section here, which is owned by the community, and all these people pay lot rent. But in the same community, you have this little section here. And in this section, you can see all of these houses are platted separately. So each one of these, you see all these, green squares here. Each one of these has been subdivided and platted so that when you click on these here, see, this is owned by a person, Wilbanks Family Trust. This is owned by a separate person, Rambaz. So all of these are owned separately. These people own the house and the real estate. These people over here only own the house in this section, because this whole parcel is owned by the community. So that's the difference there. And another easy way to figure out whether you own, if I clicked on, that's the big piece that's owned by the community. An easy way to figure out if you own the real estate is if you have a parcel identification number right here. See how it gives this parcel ID? If you don't have a parcel ID, if you can't put that in on the property appraiser and bring up your property with your name on it, you probably don't own any real estate. You probably, you'll know it if you pay lot rent anyways, but we can only list the real estate on the MLS though. So any of these houses here, we can list any of these on the MLS individually. Anything over here, we can't list this. Now we could list it for, if the community wanted to sell this entire piece, we could sell this entire piece and we can list that on the MLS because it's real estate, but we can't list these individual houses. So I thought this was a perfect example because you've got both. You've got people who own the real estate and then people who own the personal property, the house, and they pay lot rent, and they're both in the same community. They're right across the golf course from each other. So when these go to sell, these people will contact a real estate agent. When these guys over here go to sell, they're going to have to contact somebody else. And someone who deals with, this thing's in my way, hold on. Someone who deals with selling personal property and selling mobile homes, they're called a mobile home dealer. I'm trying to get to my tab. It won't let me. There we go. So in Florida, you can actually get what's called a mobile home dealer's license. And these are the people who are going to be selling mobile homes without the land, basically just the personal property. And you can see, if you look it up, if you sell one or more mobile homes in a 12-month period, you're considered a mobile home dealer and you have to get a license. So if you're selling personal property, if you're selling a mobile home in a community, you need to talk to a mobile home dealer. If you're selling real estate, you obviously want to talk to a real estate agent. And because we are listing things on the MLS, we're real estate agents. Even though we're doing flat fee MLS listings, we can't sell mobile homes without the real estate. So that was one example. That's a good example. Now this other guy, this is the same week, all this week. This guy here was a bit unique. I had never experienced this before, and I've got the plat map here. So this guy here, he owns this piece right here that's highlighted in red. Let's see if we can zoom in a little further on it. No, maybe not. There we go. So he owns this piece right here, and it's an RV park. I'm on the property appraiser. I don't know if it's zoned as an RV park or what it was, but what he did was he cleared off the previous RV park, and then he put tiny homes all over the property. So you've probably seen these things before. His actually looked kind of like this. $60,000. His looked a little like this. Is basically what they were. And what he did was he put them on this property. Let's see if I can draw on here. So he put all these little tiny homes, all the way around, and he basically made like a little community with all these tiny homes. And then he had like gravel roads, kind of going in with like a circle and, all these different houses here. Well, what he wanted to do was, he actually started submitting the listings on our website, and we had to kind of reach out and say, hey, hold on. You don't, we can't do that for you. But he was trying to sell off all of these individual houses here, all of these different, trailers, these tiny homes that he had put in there. He was trying to sell them individually without selling the property. So he didn't want to sell any of the real estate. He just wanted to sell the tiny home. And then he wanted to charge lot rent once they were sold. So the problem with that is we can't list that on the MLS. We could list the whole, let's clear this out. We could list this whole piece, the entire parcel, if you wanted to sell the whole parcel, but we can't sell those individual homes unless the only way he could do that is if he'd have to actually go and subdivide. Let me get back out of there. Okay. So he'd actually have to subdivide the property. And that's the way that you take a big piece of land. You'll go through all the hoops and the fees and the surveys and stuff like that with the county or with the city. And you actually take a big piece of land and you divide it into a bunch of small pieces of land that each have their own tax ID number, their own parcel number. Each one is taxed separately. And then you can sell off those individual pieces. So, but he didn't do that. He basically he built the subdivision and then he just tried to, point to that house. I want to sell that one. I want to sell that one. But there was no surveys done. No, he didn't go through any of the proper, he didn't subdivide it basically. And it's a shame because the little tiny houses in the little neighborhood he built looked really, really nice. They looked like they were really nice little houses, but unfortunately, we can't list that on the MLS. We would have to list either the whole parcel, or I guess he could maybe talk to like a mobile home dealer and get them to kind of sell off piece by piece if he wanted to do that. So yeah, that's the difference between real estate and personal property. This is probably the best example here, with these guys who own, on one side they pay lot rent, and on the other side they own the real estate. So this is real estate over here, and this would be personal property. They pay lot rent. So we can list this, no problem, on the MLS. Can't list this. So hopefully that clears it up and makes sense. If you do have real estate to sell and you want to save a bunch of money on real estate commission when you go to sell it, we can definitely help you out with that if you're in Central Florida. Instead of paying the 6% commission, you pay a flat fee to us for a flat fee MLS listing. You get your house or your property listed on the local MLS, and you'll save a bunch of money. And we've actually got a calculator on our website where you can actually see how much money you're going to be saving. So on a $250,000 house, you're going to save a little over $7,000. So that's quite a bit, especially if you're a house flipper or real estate investor. Margins are tight now. So if you can save $7,000 on a $250,000 house when you go to sell it, that's huge. You can use $7,000 for a lot of, marketing or, whatever you want to use it for. And we list all over Orlando, Tampa. These are all these little red house icons are actual houses that we've sold. So, and then this is our coverage area. So we cover 16 Florida counties, all the way Ocala, half of Volusia County, Orlando, all the way down to Tampa, and then down through Sarasota. So if you have any questions about anything, real estate versus personal property, or, a flat fee MLS listing, maybe you're a real estate investor and you want to start listing your properties that way, go on our website and contact us. Easiest way is just to click this little bubble. I know my little video's in the way here, but you click this little bubble at the bottom right and just submit your information through there, and we'll get back to you. That's the best way to contact us. So again, my name is Matt. I'm with Now Realty. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you on the next video.